Matt Snyder is the sort of owner, organizer, CEO, president, etc. of
Head cheese
of Crawfest. Hey, Mr. Matt, welcome to KEEL. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, doing well. How are you?
Well, quite. You find yourself at the center of sort of a storm the last few days. Let's start there. Are you kind of surprised at the way you have just all the way this has sort of blown up over the last 72 hours?
Absolutely.
Matt, how did it start? Did the city come to you and go, can we help you? Did you go to the city? You're asking for assistance with your festival, Crawfest, which you hold in Betty, Virginia Park. How did it come up?
Well, we've been doing, events for 5 years now. We've never gone to the city for any assistance, and we planned a meeting to talk about the events as they're growing so quickly. And we had set a meeting, and they said, well, hey, these are the things we can do for you. There are events in town with. Let's build something to help the festival and to help the citizens who go to the festival.
Who suggested that? Was it the mayor? Was it Shelley Regal? Who suggested help?
I think we had a meeting with Shelley Regal, and that's what came out of it.
Okay.
So she said to you, Matt, now that you're here, we have an awesome idea. We'd like to give you services for free. That's what you're saying?
Robert, what was talked about was the festival and the size of it and the issues that have came up. And so we started talking about, and I'm not a rookie to this. I've been involved with a lot of other events and witnessed what the city can do to help events. And so we've seen the assistance that other events get. And as we expected Crawfest to have 2,000, 3,000 people maybe. Last year we had over 10,000 people. The strain on the neighborhood, the strain on the park is intense. And we want to grow it. I always tell people I'm not going to be done until the Red Hot Chili Peppers are playing in Betty, Virginia Park. And everyone laughs. But I'm not going to be done until the Red Hot Chili Peppers are playing in Betty, Virginia Park. And that's going to take all of us coming together to make it happen.
So the resolution goes before the city council. They debated it for a little bit, but then they approved it with some stipulations that you pay the money back. And then all hell broke loose, right?
So the big thing was there was no discussion. Shelley, I kept saying, hey, do I need to call the city councilman and discuss what we're looking at here? Do I need to be prepared to be at the meeting? The answer was always no. No, I'm going to take this up. This is a resolution from SPAR. And that's what I was told. And then the first I heard of anything to do with this resolution was on y'all's show, was when Levette said, my friend Matt Snyder is going to be upset with me, or whatever she said. Mm-hmm. My phone started blowing up, and that's the first I ever heard of anything.
I'm told that Shelley Regal did not suggest help. Shelley Regal did not suggest the city helping you.
Well, we had a meeting and we talked about it, and Shelley Regal put the plan together. So, I didn't make the resolution there. So,
did you ask? Did you say, is there anything you can do for me to help?
Of course. Of course we said, hey, let me give you an example. The police, which is the city's requirement, our police bill went from $1,300 to over $5,000. We're trying to build an event that brings people to Shreveport. Of course we said, what can the city do to help, as they're helping other events all the time? Of course.
Well, helping a for-profit event is where a lot of people have an issue.
It's a free event, Aaron. It's a free event. There are events that I could name a list of events. The only spot that we even have a chance to recoup our money is through sponsorships and selling drinks. Events that are under the nonprofit clause or whatever, you hand out with no bidding process, nothing, their concessions. Just hand them to people. They have no skin in the game. There's nothing to do with anything. They get assistance from the city, big assistance, and then they hand to whoever they want the concessions for that person to make any money they want to make.
Name some events.
Well, how about KTBS fireworks show that was right before us on the docket that got over $40,000 of listed things? Who's going to sell their concessions? Does anybody know? Did anybody ask?
The KTBS folks will say the city gets a lot in return for that. They get a lot of publicity. They got a lot of TV time for that.
And we'll say that we give a lot back too. I mean, we give a
such
ton
as what do you give? What did you give back to the city last year?
We brought an event that brought 10,000 people to the park, the most people that have ever been in the park. We're creating a new event.
That's not you. That's not you. Well, KTBS brought 200,000 people to the riverfront.
Yes, and I'm not saying that anyone should get less assistance or not get assistance. I think the city has to find a way to manage their assistance for events across the board. I think everyone, I mean, you're talking about y'all's GeekCon. GeekCon is a great example of a new event that's a success.
Mm-hmm.
It should get help. It should be assisted. We have to come up with a way to judge events on their success and help events grow. The problem is we have a lot of events in this town that are not growing, that are not expanding, and are still getting a ton of assistance. There's also a problem with events getting assistance just because they're a nonprofit and having salaries and overhead that is never checked.
The amount of services that the city was offering to you that you initially accepted was valued, I would say, somewhere in the range of about $20,000. Were these services offered by the city? Is it something that you could use, or was it something that you really needed? And I mention that because I think you said to the city council, hey, I could lose my house if this thing doesn't fly.
The resolution was built around numbers and why, and let me be clear why we're not accepting it. We're not accepting it because the numbers on the resolution are not the true numbers. The numbers on the resolution is not what it's going to truly cost to get it done.
Explain.
The most unfortunate part is we needed help with tables, chairs, barricades. And really the barricade situation is for the safety of people. We needed help with shuttles to help with the parking situation in Betty, Virginia.
Well,
and we're not going to get that.
I know I'm getting this wrong, so correct me. What you're saying is you turned it.
There was no
you're not telling.
The story was put out that Matt got $20,000 from the city, which is in zero way true.
Right.
There is no way that is correct in any manner, in any way you can spin it. I didn't go ask for money, and I didn't receive money.
But do you see the point, Matt? If it's $20,000, you don't have to spend. It's $20,000 in your profits that you get to put in your pocket. I mean, do you see that logic?
Aaron, it's a free event. It's a free event. Okay?
But you make money off of it. You said $6,000 or $8,000 last year on the event, correct?
We did.
And you're anticipating making, I guess, double that this year since it's a 2-day event.
No, I would say we have tripled our budget. We are trying to grow an event that's truly important across the region. Every year we've grown our event on top of itself. And with that growth, we have run up against, we are willing to put our money back into the event. That's why we did not form a nonprofit. We don't want to pay ourselves salaries. We don't want to take money out of the event. Our goal is to create things that bring young people back to Shreveport. That's our goal. That's always been our goal, and it still is our goal.
So if your goal is to not make money, why didn't you set it up as a
nonprofit?
nonprofit?
I didn't say not to make money. Why? Do y'all crucify every nonprofit that pays themselves a salary?
No, I'm just asking you to clarify what you just said.
Our goal is to bring young people back to Shreveport is what I said.
We love that, Matt. We really do.
That's what I said. Not that I don't want to ever make money. Not that I'm trying to take $20,000 from the city. I didn't say any of that.
So,
and none of that's true, Robert.
Did you try? Did you
Grant and all of us for a long time, and you know that's not true.
Did you go back to the city after they passed this and try to renegotiate and say, "Look, I really don't need to. Let's meet halfway here. Just give me the tables for free." Were you willing to do some sort of compromise, and was that shot down?
Yeah, I said, "Look, guys, this is crazy. I really need the barricade." To be perfectly honest with you, last year we had a situation where there were so many people in the park that kids were getting separated from their parents, and I was having kids and I was stopping bands trying to find kids' parents almost like constantly. And so I said, we really need the barricades. Can we just cut all this, forget about all this, and just let me borrow the barricades?
And why wouldn't they do that?
The deal was put, and I mean, I think the biggest learning lesson here was to have a plan before you go to city council. If we would have discussed all this, there would have been a great resolution, I'm sure. But the problem is when you try to negotiate in front of city council, the deal was not doable. There's no guidelines. This has never been suggested or done before, ever. So when you start looking at it, there was no way to judge this. There was no way to hold anybody accountable. There were so many gray area questions of how this was going to be done. You couldn't do it.
So at the end
and
of
so
the day,
when I said,
pardon me,
hey,
Matt,
can we just take the in-kind part and borrow the barricades? The deal was it's an all-or-nothing situation.
Running short on time here.
Then we're not going to be able to take anything.
At the end of the day, you said no. You said, I don't want the help. I don't want the services from the city because you've gotten so much negative publicity, because you don't need it, because it's too big a hassle.
All of the above.
In about 15 seconds, sum it up for us.
I mean, yeah, Aaron, you're probably right. All of it. But I mean, like the headache. The only thing I would say about the backlash and all that is the frustration there is that it was reported horribly. I never went to the city and asked for money. They never offered to give me money. No one offered to write me a check for anything, or no one was ever asked to do that. That's the most frustrating part. And we didn't turn it down for that. We turned it down because there's no way to do this in a sensible way in the way it was presented. And like everything, we're going to continue to try to grow great events in our city. And that's the point. The point was for the city to help with shuttles and parking and barricades and things that we need a little assistance on as we grow. We are tripling our budget from last year. The first year we spent $3,000 on music budget. The second year we spent $7,000. This year we're spending over $28,000 to bring amazing regional and national talent to the park. And the people of our community have responded. And they have shown the need for these kind of events.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still on,
we
right?
wanted to build an event
you're still
that
a
people
go.
would come out and help and see and sit and talk and be together in our community.
You're still
and that's
a go.
what we built.
We got to go, man. Just one quick. You're still a go. Everything's 100% on, and you're feeling like this will be your best event ever.
We'll see.
Well, if you lose your house, Matt, I got a guest room.
Thanks, Aaron. I got 5 kids. It's gonna be,
Never mind, Matt. Never mind.